friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle and Happy New Year. In this video I will be discussing my 2020 reading habits and just recapping how my reading journey went in this year. My goal for 2020 was to read 50 books and I am happy to say that I actually read 102 books, which is a really big deal for me. The past 2 years, I have really struggled with just reading 50 books. Last year, I only read 50 books. In 2018, I only read 23 books. I've really been struggling with reading, so the fact that I was able to read 102 books is a big deal for me, and I'm incredibly proud of myself, and I genuinely enjoyed the books that I did read, even the ones that kind of sucked. One thing that really made it possible for me to consume a lot of books in 2020 was the Libby app and getting a library card, and also the Kindle desktop app, being able to read books that I had borrowed from the library on a desktop. That has truly changed the game. I've read so many ebooks. I think, and this even might be too many, but I think I only read 3 physical books in 2020, and even that might be a lot. I work in an office setting, and although we stayed open, business did go down for a couple of the summer months. There wasn't a lot to do, and so I truly read through so many books during work. I have now developed that kind of a bad habit where I can only read books at work. I can't find the motivation to do it at home. Another thing that I changed in 2020 in regards to my reading is that I stopped doing monthly wrap-ups. Monthly wrap-ups for me are an incredibly huge stress. I struggle with coming up with decent synopsis, having to describe the book to you and what the book is about. For some reason, I find that very difficult. I stress myself out with how much do I actually say, and I also stopped because I was reading so many books. I was feeling very overwhelmed at just the thought of, okay, I've read 10 books this month. I have to now make a monthly wrap-up video about this, and that's 10 synopses I gotta come up with. So I decided to just completely stop with that because I had that weight lifted off of my shoulders. I really went in on reading. I started reading for the fun of it again. I think a lot of my content, YouTube content this year, has been a lot of tag videos or discussion videos or challenge videos. So because I wasn't doing videos where I was presenting the books that I was reading about, I started reading for fun again. I started picking up whatever sounded interesting to me. I stopped being stressed about what everyone else was reading. In 2019, I had this FOMO, I guess you could call it, where I was freaking out about not reading all of the books that everyone else was reading because I couldn't afford to buy the book and I didn't have a library card, which, why did I wait so long to get a library card? I don't know. I just didn't have access to the new books that other people were reading, and because of that, I felt like if I can't read what's hyped right now, or I can't read that new release, like I can't read anything. Like, what's the point of reading if I'm not going to be reading what everyone else is reading? That was my mindset in 2019. And in 2020, because I stopped worrying about that, or I was just so into my library card and being able to borrow anything I wanted to read, I started reading for fun again. I stopped worrying about what's coming out, what is everyone else reading. And having a library card gave me the opportunity to read some of the older hyped books that I had missed out on when they were freshly published, and I did enjoy a lot of them, and now I am just picking books that sound interesting to me, books that I want to read, maybe one that's been on my TBR for a long time but I just hadn't had access to it. Not saying that it's a bad thing to read the new releases or the hyped books. I still know of them and I still plan on reading them. I'm just going to get to them a little slower than other people, and that's okay. In 2020, I also realized that my reading tastes had changed for the majority of my reading life. I have always been focused on fantasy, YA fantasy. That is my little niche, that is my little comfort zone, or at least it was until 2020 came. I've been reading a lot of sci-fi, and I've been enjoying a lot of sci-fi. I'm really shocked at the amount of sci-fi books that I gave 4 and 5 stars, because when I started BookTube, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few videos of me saying that sci-fi is my least favorite genre, and now it's definitely in my top 2. It's gotta be well done. Like, I don't think I like just any sci-fi, but still, I've enjoyed a lot of sci-fi in 2020. I guess I hadn't ever really given sci-fi a true try. I hadn't given them a chance to prove to me that it was something that I could enjoy, but 2020 was a good year for trying out new things. I also found myself reaching for mystery thrillers. I read a few books by Karen Slaughter. I read one Gillian Flynn book as well. It wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. That was also different. I had always liked mystery. It definitely wasn't my first choice of book, but really in 2020, I found myself avoiding fantasies. I really wanted to read sci-fis. I really wanted to read mystery thrillers. I would look at a fantasy book on the Libby app and it's just like, oh, I don't really want to read it. That's not what I want. I'm gonna look under sci-fi. In 2020, I had challenged myself to not reread old favorites, because I have that bad habit, but I tend to reread things that I enjoy. It's with shows as well, like on Netflix. I'll rewatch the same 3 shows in rotation because I'm so afraid of trying new things. It's like, why would I try something else if I already know what I like? So I'm just gonna stick with this. But I really challenged myself in 2020 to not do that, to only read new books that I had never read before. And I think I did a good job with that. I don't think I reread very many. I know for sure I reread the Iron Fae series with my BookTube bestie Madison, and honestly, that's an exception, okay? Because I love that series. It's gotta be my favorite series. And the author has a spin-off series coming out, I think in May, so call it preparation for the new spin-off series. But other than that, I think I did really well. Like I mentioned or touched upon earlier, one thing that I did struggle on was reading at home and getting through my physical TBR. My new goal for 2021 is to read the books on my bookshelf. Read the books that I own, that I have bought, before I continue borrowing books through the Libby app. And it's not from lack of interest. Like, these are books that I have purchased or that have been purchased for me that I really enjoyed or I'm really interested in, but I just for some reason can't find the motivation to read it at home. It's so easy to read them at work because it's like, well, if I don't have actual work things to do, this is the only thing I can do. But at home, it's like, okay, if I don't have anything to do, I can watch something with my fiance, I can scroll on my phone, I can play games, I can go out. Like, there are just so many more distractions at home that why do I need to read? Which is so horrible as a reader and as a booktuber to say, but why would I read at home? If I could do other things. So if you have any advice, anything that you think could help motivate me to read at home more, please leave me a comment down below, because 2021, that is something that I need to do, that needs to get done. I need to get through my physical TBR before I continue buying books or before I continue borrowing books on the Libby app. After some consideration, my 2020 reading goal has been set to 75 books. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little scared. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I am taking into consideration that I'm going to try to read books off of my physical TBR, books that I own right now. Gotta account for that. I'm still going to read ebooks, so hopefully it will be a good balance of ebooks and physical books. That's it to this video. I just wanted to kind of document for myself and also share with you guys what my 2020 reading habits were, how it went. All in all, I think 2020 was a great reading year. It was definitely the crappiest personal year for everyone, you know, just life was hell. But at least reading-wise, things went really well. It was a silver lining in the absolute garbage fire that was 2020. That's it to this video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for my favorites of 2020 and the worst of 2020. Also, leave a comment down below if there's any particular video or anything in specific that you want to see from me in 2021. I always am very appreciative of video suggestions because your girl needs help sometimes. My name is Elle. Fingers crossed 2021 goes better than 2020, and I'll see you in next time's video.